to go on a quick journey with me, if you will. I'm going to ask each one of you in the classroom to close your eyes and just listen to what I have to say. I promise you I'm not going to run out of the room and y'all be sitting here in silence. So everybody close their eyes. Imagine, if you will, if you have a child. That child is sitting in the classroom with a book in front of him or her, and they're just looking at this book. Imagine the teacher walking around that classroom, looking at every one of those child's eyes, doing what he or she is supposed to be doing in evaluating that child, assessing whether or not that child is truly reading the information in front of them. Imagine that teacher getting to the child that you have in your mind right now and ask that child to read a passage that's in front of them. Imagine that child looking up at that teacher and saying, "Sir, ma'am, I can't read." Imagine the feelings that that child has inside of them, that anxiety, the things that that's going through their mind when that teacher asks that question. Imagine how they feel when they interact with the other children and they find out that he or she can't read. Imagine if that was your child. Now I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. I stand before you today, speaking on behalf of millions of children across this country that can't read, that don't have the access to things that they would like to have in their lives because they don't have the positive individuals that will mentor them, that will help them, that will get them through the hard days of their lives, that will set them up for the success that each and every last one of us are entitled to have. Using your daughter, you said she's 7 years old, starting at this particular point. She's in elementary school. She's being groomed right now. She has an excellent mentor in her mother. She has an excellent mentor in her father. But there are other individuals that she can come across in her life that can mentor her and take her on to heights that her mother and father do not have the capacity to handle right now. I'm asking each and every last one of you right now to think about mentorship. I have some information that I want to read out to you. It's called The Mentoring Effect, Young People's Perspective on the Outcomes and Availability of Mentoring. This was a survey that was conducted on 79 individual mentoring groups across the country, and the results were from Civic Enterprises, Heart Research, and Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership. The first thing that they identified in their executive summary, that this report shares the findings from the first nationally representative survey of young people, the individuals who was in the program and not the mentors, and their perspective on mentoring. While mentoring is needed and wanted by young people to help them stay on the path of high school graduation, college success, and productive adulthood, a significant mentoring gap exists in America, especially for at-risk youth. More than 1 in 3 young people, an estimated 16 million, never had an adult mentor of any kind. This population includes an estimated 9 million at-risk youth who will reach age 19 without ever having a mentor, and who are therefore less likely to graduate high school, go on to college, and lead healthy, productive lives. Mentoring has an effect that's far beyond what we can think of in this room right here. Throughout my military career, I just told you all that I've been in the Air Force for 24 years. For 22 of those 24 years, I was mentoring. The only time that I did not mentor was when I was going through basic training, when I got to my first base in K.I. Sawyer, Michigan, which is now closed. And they told us, before you do anything outside of this job, you must have all of your upgrade training taken care of. So I did that. But I knew that I wanted to mentor somebody. I knew what I had when I was growing up. In the 60s and 70s, family was it. Your family was your mentor. They help get you to the process. They help you get you through your life. They help put things in you to instill qualities in you that you could carry on. In the 80s and the 90s, the 2000s, and this decade, things changed dramatically over that time period. These children out there now are begging for somebody to help them. They're begging for somebody to sit down with them for just a few minutes to listen to what they have to say. They're begging for somebody to help them save their lives. So I'm asking you. We sit here in the uniforms, and I say that because I still feel like I'm in the military sometimes. We sit here in our uniforms, we get in our own lives, we do the things that we have to do as far as our jobs. We mentor to each other that's in uniform, but we never reach outside of that gate to those schools in Hampton from the elementary to the high school level. We never reach those schools in Newport News or in Yorktown from the elementary to the high school level. These are the young men and women who will be taking care of us in our old age. These are the young men and women who will be running this country at some point in time. Let's help them now. Let's help them today. Let's be mentors. We have a platform that's far-reaching. Let's use that platform. Let's elevate them and elevate ourselves. To me, there's nothing greater than sitting there and watch a child who couldn't do 1 + 1. And at the end of the year, they're in multiplication and division with no problem. That is a beautiful thing. I have the opportunity to be in the Langley African American Heritage Council and a group called Helping Young People Excel, HYPE. And we do mentorship in 13 different schools and the Norfolk Detention Center here in this area. Just last week, 2 weeks ago, we had the opportunity to watch several young men and women stand before us and present projects, not only to us, but to those peers. They've come a long way from when we first got with them over 2 years ago. So again, I appeal to each and every last one of you in this room today. Think about it. Think about stepping outside of your jobs. Think about getting into a mentor program in the Hampton Roads area and help those 9 million at-risk youth be much more than what they are right now. I thank you for your time, for listening to me.